Welcome to everybody to the first episode of the Stay Dangerous podcast.
Yeah.
The podcast that actually gets into conversations that need to be had,
Mm-hmm.
not the celebrity gossip.
We ain't reading Cardi B text messages, yo. We not telling you what Glorilla said about such and such. And
Nah, we're not doing that. It's
we
not the dating
doing that.
podcast.
Yeah. We ain't going back and forth about relationships and $200 dates. And yeah, we ain't doing that.
And this ain't the alpha male posturing podcast.
Facts. And we not here to tell you that men gotta do this and we got nah, bro. We gotta kick nothing but real shit, get into real feelings, real situations, real conversations on a lot of topics that us men are at least not having openly, and us as black men are not having with each other on a consistent basis, to get away from all the fluff and the drama and the day-to-day, everyday sports, cool shit we all talk about. We here to really get into some real shit, you know what I'm saying? Which we already do, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what brought us to this situation.
Yeah, I just feel like if y'all are talking about some stuff that means anything, y'all not doing it publicly. So
Facts. I've been a podcast listener for a minute, bro. And man, it's a lot out there, and I respect all the podcasters doing what they do. I see niggas getting to the bag. I see people getting platforms that ain't had shit. I see a lot of good in it, but at the same time, especially in the black market, it's saturated with all entertainment, pure entertainment.
Yeah, and it's nothing against that. We just need balance.
Exactly.
Just need balance.
That's what we here for.
Man. Bro.
What's poppin'?
You want to let them know how we coming today?
Well, on the episode?
Yeah, episode 1.
Yeah. We coming straight into it. We're getting real vulnerable real quick. We coming in why this episode is titled Why Men Cry. So my brother kind of I'm a crier. That's what I do. So I cry often, and time is like we felt that this conversation was very very necessary to have. What you say, something like the stats, 2 times men cry twice a month?
Yeah, man. So I think an initial conversation is like, oh, should we talk about do men cry or why men don't cry?
Mm-hmm. That's the notion. Is that
right, that's the notion
cry.
that we don't cry, that
Mm-hmm.
we don't, or that we shouldn't even sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading a New York Times article. It said studies have shown that men cry 1.9 times a month, so 2 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually on the low end. I looked up a bunch of different things as we was getting ready for this, and that seemed to be not low end, but in the middle. Like
right.
It wasn't a high estimate.
What is that?
At
a
all.
survey of I'm asking people how much they cry per month?
Yeah, and that's
two is really
that's self-reported. Yeah,
right,
so exactly.
Right,
so it's that because that's the thing. Nobody got the camera up the whole time or whatever. Nobody got a heart rate monitor to say you crying now. So self-reported 2 times a month. So yeah, double it or triple it or whatever people do for the body count. You know, just get it up. But so yeah, I want to talk about why men cry, our relationship with crying, and then coming from different perspectives on crime, maybe what other people can, take from that and open up. Because I feel like crying is a natural human emotion. And if we're denying that we do it or being told we can't, we're denying part of our
just
humanity.
Hiding it in spaces. People not afraid to show certain emotions in certain spaces. Nobody's afraid to laugh in front of their friends, and nobody's afraid to express other emotions, but crying is always looked at as something that you have to hide. People apologize when they start crying. People hide their faces. People, you know what I'm saying? Even some subtle is going when people go to funerals, they're wearing sunglasses. So it's like it's not a normalized emotion.
Yeah, and if you do cry, you're gonna be Jordan memed, dog.
Exactly. Nigga Jordan, like, yo, I'm showing raw emotion. I done been a meme for 10 years. Yeah, facts. That's a fact.
All right, so let's talk about it, man. When's the last time you cried?
Man, the last time I had a real good cry, say, was on my birthday. He was there. He wasn't there while I was crying, but he was in Turks. Did Turks for the birthday. Shout out that amazing experience, amazing time with all my folks
dope.
that I love and shit. That shit
it was an
beautiful.
Upgrade.
Yeah, definitely an upgrade. It's getting better each year. Probably one of the best birthdays I've had, actual day. But nonetheless, I had so for my birthday, like my girl asked what I want, and I'm like, man, I'm thinking of shit, you know, and I'm like, man, for real, I just want to hear kind words from my parents, and I want them to not know that I'm expecting those kind words. So I'm like, yo, why don't you just set something up to where they do some shit and they don't even know that I'm doing it. I just want them to give me real raw shit. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to her. She put all that together. Had a cameraman go to my parents' house and sat with them. I guess she had wrote out a list of questions for them and kind of just asked them shit, and they record a whole video like 10 minutes. And it was just, man, it was stories that I haven't heard my mom and my dad saying. It was I don't know, it was very raw. It was like I've never heard my mom don't really tell me she loved me often, you know what I'm saying? She don't express the words, because in her culture that's just not really what they do, expressing emotions. So she hearing my mom tell me she loved me and tell me stories even that's making her cry, hearing my dad kind of just getting into it, like really telling what he wishes for me, what he hopes for me, funny stories that I done to make him laugh, and just, man, my pops telling me he loved me, and my mom telling me he loved me, my brother showing love, all of them, and just like I could tell that they is not natural for him, you know what I'm saying? That but it just like break the wall down. Watching it was beautiful. Yo. I was crying like a motherfucker. It was the first thing I watched that morning, and shit was beautiful.
It's a hell of a way to start a birthday off, bro.
Hell yeah. I'm right by the water. I walk out to the dock, right down the edge of the water and shit, and it was like, damn, yo, that shit. But that's something that live forever, man. I want something like that. That actually, I want something that's gonna make me cry. That's better than any what you gonna give me, some clothes or some whatever jewelry here and there. I got a gift that is gonna make me cry, and that's gonna make me be able to, when my parents is gone, that I'll be able to have some people keep voicemails and shit for their parents when they leave. Now I got a video of my parents telling me all the things that make them happy and shit. You feel me?
Yeah, man. I could tell it touch you even right now.
Hell yeah.
Even right now. So it sounds like you, well, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. You have, feels like a very healthy relationship with crying.
Yeah.
You embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
How often would you say that you cry? You in that you plus that two times a month?
yeah. I'm over that 2 times a month. I say shit probably like, man, 3-4 times a week down there, yo. Like,
Ooh.
yeah. And it come from like a lot of pain. It could be pain shit, it could be trauma shit, it could be gratitude, appreciation, stresses, and you know what I'm saying, come in all different forms. But anytime I feel it, I'm not worried about letting it out. It don't matter where I'm at, who I'm with, what I'm doing, and the more you do anything, you get more comfortable with it. So it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing, because if it's some shit that I'm feeling is making me feel like that, that's valid. That's all the validation I need.
Word.
I let it out, you know what I mean? Because I could feel it when I let it in, you know what I'm saying? I've been through situations, I guess, to where I've been in places and been through situations where crime wasn't an option, you know what I'm saying? I've been incarcerated before, so, and being in those type of situations, I'm in a box and a place where it's nothing but men that want to cry, and pain and anger and despair, in a place like that where I can't cry. So I've been down for time and ain't been able to shed not one tear. So now I'm out here, whenever I gotta cry, I'm letting it go. Like, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Word, that's beautiful. I admire that.
Mm.
I really appreciate that.
Already.
About you.
Yeah. Tough shit.
But even like,
yeah.
even me knowing that, and not so many, I didn't really know why or what it came from. We haven't had that conversation, but I've talked to you on many occasions when you're like, yeah, I was having a real conversation with one of my friends, and it ended up in tears and something, like knowing that you're willing to go there, just on a regular basis is part of the reason why, I agreed to do the pod, because I'm like, okay, we gonna get into some real shit and everything's gonna be off the table. Yeah.
Yeah, so. You already know. Like, me and Brendon, we getting into real shit anytime we interact, anytime we speak. I said to him the other week, like, yo, I've never even watched TV around this dude. You know what I'm saying? There's no TV. It's a lot of talks, and not just to say super deep every time. Yeah, we got our bullshit. We're going to talk about some sports. We're going to go kick it. We're going to go do the fun shit. But that always is family, kids, growing up, maturity, depression, feelings, et cetera, real shit. So now we're bringing 100%. That to an audience, and hopefully it mend the community in a way, like some type of positive way. I want to build this big community. I want this type of shit to be the regular shit.
It is funny that I think I've known you almost 4 years now, and in Turks, watching football was the first time I think we ever been around each other with a TV on.
Word, yeah, word.
Unless we was at a bar that's like a sports bar or something like that. But yeah.
Nah,
that's wild.
Niggas just sit down in the kitchen and chat. Yeah.
Word.
But shit, then I like to know, I guess, on your end, if you're gonna ask me when the last time I cried, I'd like to know the last time you cried. I'm thinking you're not a big crier as me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
I'm definitely not a big crier, and it's not that I don't want to be. In fact, now I kind of find myself trying to let it out. I can feel it coming up, even watching movies and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Between 2010 and 2016, like I cried in 2010 and in 2016, but between that, I don't think I cried at all.
That's nuts, my nigga.
Not anything that I remember.
Hey, that is nuts, my nigga. So I gotta go into like, all right, then what is that? Because what is it? You talking 6 years where you can remember, you could pinpoint 2 points, and it's like I can't even fathom. You know what I'm saying?
Summer 16, I cried twice though. So
how Pelosi do it, motherfucker. So that I'm thinking. So it's like, is that you holding back from crying? Because it's 6 years go by. So there's bullshit that come. There's painful things that happen. There's all types of shit that goes on in life to where it's had to be something that either you wanted to cry or you couldn't, or what's holding that back? What's stopping that from happening?
To be honest, bro, I never felt like I was holding something back. I'm not saying I wasn't protecting myself, because I probably was, but it was on a subconscious level. Like, I was never like, oh, I feel like crying right now, but such and such can't see me, or I feel like crying right now, but, this is going.
I guess it is possible for life just to be going swimmingly or just fine. Nah. Shit can be going just fine, dog.
Yo, that's funny. Like, normalize, like, just hard times, but.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, hard times go happen, but, like, you know what, if everybody healthy, if you get some money, you cool at peace in life, kind of what the fuck? You know
bro, I was talking to my homie, like, I grew up with him, known him since I was 8 years old. We met in the 3rd grade, and, like, went to college together, like, stay friends to this day. And he was like, the other day, he was like, bro, I always fuck with the fact that whatever happens, you just be like, okay, what's next? And I think that's my mentality. And so, like, I'm not saying nothing bad happened during that time. I was definitely down bad at different periods during that time. Different shit happened. I didn't, want to happen. All type of, life. But I just never remember being like, dang, this shit. I remember all type of dumb stuff happening during that time, but I never remember thinking, damn, I wish I could cry, or I have to cry. It wasn't until my son was born in 2016. 2016 was a wild summer. This is Trump about to come on, so it's like a bunch of stuff, but it's Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, all that summer. And my son was born on May 15th. So that summer, I'm just like really going through it like, yo, what type of selfish shit was I on bringing a life into this world with all this stuff going on? And that made me cry. And then I had a homie from high school.
What made you cry? The feeling of the selfishness, or like the state of the world?
Damn, am I hated that much that my life is such a threat that I'm hunted, and then I can't even be proud and happy about adding to my lineage, adding to my legacy, something that should be the happiest thing in the world for me is now causing me turmoil and even guilt, where it should be just jubilation based off of where I live, and not even where, Black people persecuted everywhere, but man, it was that just amalgamation of conflicting feelings that was just like the only emotion or the only way I could even try to process it started with tears. And honestly, like, that's something that still happens now, like, I'm very thoughtful about, how I raised my son to actually be open about expressing emotion. I know as a kid, like, that was not, no, you don't cry in my house.
Does he cry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kid's a cry baby.
Yeah. Was this trigger? Like,
I don't want to, belittle it by saying cry baby, but he's very sensitive.
Word.
And I don't shame him for that. Like what would have been when I was a kid, I let him know when stuff is, when there's a bigger context. I try not to say it's not that serious, like stuff I was told, but I try to let him know, I see what you're looking at, but you got to look up and notice that there's so much more happening. But he's 6 years old. So, like I also make space for him to cry. I tell him all the time, hey man, it's okay. Cry, come here. And I hold him during it. Rather than the treatment that I got, which was, oh, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Right. A lot of us got that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. Unfortunately, I never had that. And never punished for crying, which probably was like leaves it open. But I've seen many of families where you can't even cry. You do that, you're gonna get whooped on more because you crying make somebody else feel bad or look bad or whatever the case may be. But
bro,
that ain't no solution.
I had to call my mom one day and be like, hey, quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When did you learn that emotional expression was forbidden? Like, where did you get that from? And I think it threw her off because it was like no warning, just like, Mom, I gotta ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
She sat silent on the phone for a bit, and then she's like, you know what? I learned that at my grandma's house. And it really kind of put things into perspective for me. So my mom, born and raised in Detroit, but from the ages of 3 to 9, went to go live in Fitzgerald, Georgia with her grandma. I won't get into all the family stuff. We'll probably do a whole family episode or something at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's now living 3 to 9 very formidable years under, someone's household who is a generation away from slavery. Emotional expression is actually a threat to your life. And so that is how my mom internally, and then plus she's for those, in the astrology, she's a Virgo. So she's not a very emotional person herself. She's a very earth, grounded person. And so I don't know how she got 2 Pisces kids.
Word.
So it was just a conflict. But yeah, bro, that lack of ability to express yourself is wild.
Yeah, it's a thing in our community, and that's kind of what we here for, to show this, to be here as 2 men in their 30s that's just showing y'all it's okay, it's normal, it's regular, it's okay to talk about it, like whatever. Like, this needs to be the kind of shit that's normalized, because internalizing your emotions over a long period of time, keeping anything in that's trying to come out can only do harm, can't do no good.
100%. And I think, like, so I will say since 2019, I've been a lot more emotive in all facets. And so I've cried more often. I haven't gone 6 years without, without crying.
What do you attribute that to, though?
I attribute it to a bunch of different things. I think 2019, a lot of stuff happened that forced me to get outside my comfort zone. That was the year that, first of all, I don't know first of all, but I'll just name them. Me and my son's mother broke up. I have my first experience with psychedelics. Nip died, which was a huge thing for me. I started to understand it's like my spiritual journey changed around this time, really like December 18, but into 19, where I understood myself more as a person, as a being having this experience than just like, as a spirit first.
Mm.
And so my attachment to certain things became less, and certain just norms and functions didn't matter as much to me. A bunch of stuff happened in 2019. It was a very pivotal year for me, but I know that I've been able to express myself more. I think it's beautiful and it should be acknowledged that when I ask you when's the last time you cried, it was something positive. It was love being given. But I do want to ask you, when's the last time you cried from pain or sadness?
From pain or sadness, I'd say it's been, I don't know, it's not as frequent, but I'll give a good example of something that I learned recently that still triggers me. Like, that's a older memory of where I didn't think it was a time where I couldn't cry, that comes to the forefront of now, where I'm like, oh shit, that still affects me. But so I was telling you, like, I was incarcerated, and one we having, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's visit day. So visit day is motherfucking everything. The whole energy different. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas is getting hype, niggas getting haircuts, niggas is put the crease in their pants, like niggas tucking the shirt in.
I see the vision.
Yeah, putting the chucks on. And we had a unit where it was nighttime visits too. So it was like a Friday night or like a Saturday night type visit. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting all fresh, getting ready. Chick I was with at the time supposed to come see me. So, you know what I mean? I'm geeked up and on the phone all day, yada yada. But you know what I mean? The running jokes and shit be in there like, nigga, shut up, that chick ain't coming, blah blah blah. So anyway, you know what I'm saying? I'm just waiting, and they come inside and let you know, kinda, you know what I mean, when they call your name for a visit. So every time that person come in the door, I'm like, you know what I mean? Keep looking. And I just remember shorty just ain't come, you know what I mean? And I ain't know why. So it's like niggas making fun of me now, talking about your shorty getting fucked down right now, all that type shit.
Yeah.
In front of the whole, first in front of like 50 niggas, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to call on the phone, shorty ain't answering, but I just remember how bad, like how sad that shit made me feel. And it was really like low point for me, because it just felt like I ain't had shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just really felt like, I just like, damn, yo, like, I ain't got shit. What I gotta do, go to sleep in the cell and then wake up and then be that. And it turned out, you know what I'm saying? Shorty was just, like, that's the thing about jail, you can't communicate with the outside. So it turned out Shorty had just overslept, you know what I'm saying? And missed that little window, and she can't call me, so I gotta call her. I don't find that out till the next day, but nonetheless, that's how I felt. I remember that's how I felt that night. I don't still feel the pain from that, but I could still, obviously, it could still make me cry, because I could actually go back to that feeling.
Yeah, and there's so much to that, because there's the restriction of the emotion at the time. There's the build of the expectation for something to happen and the letdown. There's the
and it's the defense that I'm putting on for these niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's the posturing before, and then there's the feeling after. There's a ridicule of your peers after.
Yeah.
There's like, all the things that make you feel unsafe or unseen or unloved are happening in that moment.
And then you gotta kind of, even when you're in a spot, I gotta just move on from it. It's not like I could talk to Shorty next day and like get my emotions out. I gotta just sit there on the phone, act like everything good. You know what I'm saying? And then just be that. So I was internalizing a lot of bullshit, to where it's like, man, like, that shit really.
Were you ever able to talk to her about it, and so she knows now?
Yeah, she know, yeah, for sure. And it's definitely not to throw under the bus, like nothing like that. There's no ill will toward it. It's just I can vividly remember how I felt that day, you know what I'm saying, to this day. And that was probably about damn near 9-10 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So I could still vividly remember that feeling, and where I was and what I was wearing and how I looked and what that nigga said to me and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, 100%.
But it ain't like, I mean, I've cried for many painful things since then, but I kind of just wanted to express that, because it's something that I could still feel and it's still real to me, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
How about yourself? sad shit. Because I remember I talked to, I don't know, when were we talking about this? Probably, maybe 2021 or 2020. And I remember we both, like, I don't know if I was like, I hit you. It was like, man, I think I just come out of, like, feeling like on some depression shit. And I hit you, and you were going through that at the time. And I remember that, like, us talking about that. So I know 100%. That you've been sad at.
Yeah, no, I mean, 2020 was a crazy into 2021. Yeah, a lot of stuff, like my vision of myself, my understanding of my worth was all thrown off, and I think the world changing around me, and just like a lot of disruption in my life in 2019, as I mentioned. I think, yeah, I had a really hard time. And actually coming out of that, I started to notice that I wasn't able to accept love. That was a huge thing, and I thought it was like, you know, one person says it and you're like, oh, you tripping. Then I started to notice it, and it goes back even way, like as a kid, man. I used to tell my mom to wish me bad luck before a game.
Right.
Like
I used to tell my dad, don't come to my game. It's just cause like it was really like, damn, I would like you there, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So
I like playing on the road better than home.
Yeah, like I stopped running track because you too close to the cheers, and it's uncomfortable for me. But so anyway, this year actually, I started, this also old memory, but this year I cried from it because I started to realize the impact of something that happened when I was 16. So I'm 16 years old. I am dead asleep in the middle of the night. And my pops comes into the room. No context for nothing, just bust in, wake up. I'm like, get your ass up. I'm like, actually, he wasn't cussing, but he's yelling.
Yeah.
I ain't know my pops cussed till I was like grown, but it was wild. But
that's crazy.
Like, get up, like, take all your clothes off. I'm like, what? What is happening? I could tell he's pissed, and my dad can get mad. My dad tells me, wake up in the middle of the night, take all my clothes off, and just starts beating me. Now, I'm 16, so like I grew up getting beat, but at 16, I'm not expecting no beating coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a child, you know. I'm a kid, but you know what I'm saying? So
16, nigga, would I had to me and Pops would have to duke it out for sure.
But yeah, but I still had a healthy fear of my pops at this time. And it was just no contact, and he's just wailing like what feels like forever, right? And then at the end of it, he's like, that's how it feels to be exposed, and just walks out. And I have no idea what this man is talking about.
That probably you said some shit.
And I feel so, the feeling I didn't realize was like, man, it just took so much from me because I felt so safe. I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, I feel the most vulnerable. I'm asleep. And the person that I love, that I feel like if anything was to happen that I couldn't handle, would protect me, is the one that it just took so much security and safety and even confidence away from me at that time, because I'm 16 years old. I'm coming off of a ACL injury, but I'm a bigger athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I'm coming into my manhood, and I feel like invincible at the time. And then here comes this situation that kind of like threw me off, and I realized like I still harbor the energy of protecting myself, and like those that love you can hurt you, and like all this stuff, and not. And there's
you still that sleeping boy, but that person that love you could still come harm you,
bro. Yeah. So I ended up figuring out later, and we've never actually talked about it since. And I'll probably talk to him before this episode comes out, before he be like, what's going on? But what I end up realizing later, it was like kind of a misunderstanding, and that sounded like a very wild thing, like wake somebody up in the middle of the night, tell them strip and beat them for 30 minutes. Like, it sounds like wild shit.
It could be a misunderstanding. It could be
a
simple misunderstanding like that.
But yeah, like
niggas die with simple misunderstanding.
Yeah, 100%. It seemed very specific thing to do, but but thinking about that this year, and not just the emotion of me as a 16-year-old, but also the impact it's had on every relationship I've had, romantic and otherwise. I was crying, and it was sort of like it was sadness in there. It was reflection. It was like what I've been through, but how I've hurt others by trying to protect myself and not let them hurt me. It was a bunch of stuff of like, damn, I wish I would have handled this earlier. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bunch of stuff there, but definitely pain and sadness was a part of that. So I'll say that was this year. So that would be it for sure.
I feel it, my nigga. Like,
Yeah.
and I would wish for you to, as you said, you being more comfortable with that. I wish for you to maybe because there could be times where you don't think about sad things because you still had that. I don't want to, like, being sad is frowned upon. Whereas like I'll sit there when I'm in the crib by myself and I sit there and think about that sad shit that's really hurt me and just like, oh shit, I cry about it or I identify it and just think and I just like let the feelings go. But nah, I applaud the efforts and I see it and let that shit go, bro. Like all the way.
Yeah, I think I've been embracing the idea of whatever feelings come as a human being, I'm down for it.
Let it go.
And what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
like,
as long as I can accept it, I could actually let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a part of my spiritual journey, my journey. You know, I started going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I did a few different stints in therapy. But I think the year 2020, I think we was talking, or maybe 2021, because I had moved to LA. I had got diagnosed with depression. So it's staring you dead in your face, and it's the pandemic. So it's it's nothing to do but sit there and deal with it. So I definitely learned to embrace that. But yeah.
Shit, nigga, yeah, it's heavy, man. Let's get into like I just want to introduce the audience. Like every episode, we gonna do what we gonna call it a fit check, cause we coming in here dressed proper, not like the rest of these podcasters.
Talking shit.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna talk about shit, take all these little shots, but we definitely gonna be the flyest podcast out there. So we feel like if we gonna be the flyest, we at least gotta tell y'all how we coming, what we coming with. So every episode, we gonna take a little break and do a fit check in between. So go ahead, let the people know how you was coming today, how you was feeling.
Man, I was feeling LA and New York.
Thought it was.
Nah, man. So I mean, bottom up, bro. When I was in LA, I was packing for this shit, and I had some like Aleek's mules set by my joint. Left them joints.
Yeah, what you got there?
So I ended up just picking up these Birkenstocks.
I ain't mad at the pivot.
Nah,
it's a solid pivot.
The pivot is solid. I fuck with the Birks these days. I could. It's a me that I know back in my past that was like, bro, Birkenstocks. What you think about? But yeah, I just picked up these and they got the little fur on the inside, so it's perfect. Little LA to New York vibe. The Rototo socks got the pleated Issey Miyake. I've been wearing Issey Miyake out this year. RIP to a genius, man. So we lost him this year. So
a lot of niggas have no idea what you said.
Oh, word.
You gotta break it down. You got pleated Issey Miyake.
Yeah,
RIP
Issey
to Issey
Miyake.
You know
a lot of people know Issey Miyake from the fragrance. I feel like his cologne was real popular in the 90s. But a dude that changed fashion came in the 80s and really redefined dress clothes and how people could rock it. And I feel like the On Police is a pleated collection that's been coming out for a while that I think people when they first saw it was like it's kind of feminine to have all the pleats and stuff, but I see a lot of rappers in this, so I know niggas know about it now.
Yeah, already.
ESCG was in this joint, so I know.
It's in the streets.
But yeah, doing that. Some Japanese shit, man. Always. The tea, it's a Pierre Moss tea. I don't know how many people can see it, but Pierre Moss tea. You know me, I got the pearls on pretty much always.
What about the kimono?
The kimono, bro.
Yeah. Story behind that.
This is brandless. This is straight from Japan. And actually, I was recently in Japan, but I didn't even get it. It's actually it's a seamstress I reached out to. She's a costume designer, seamstress, but I was trying to get some custom pieces done. I was like, yo, I'm Japanese inspired. I'm about to head to Japan. She was in Japan at the time. Had bought hella stuff, and I think this was intended for somebody else, but it ended up on my back. So
that shit hard.
I appreciate that. and it's reversible too. It got some flashing on the inside. Yeah.
What reversible? What's on the inside? Like it's a pattern.
It's a painted scene.
And it's baby blue.
Yeah. Yeah, this shit is proper.
Yeah, shout out to that shorty.
She is very right, very right.
Shout out to that shorty.
Yeah, shout out.
The glasses is
Oh, the Gucci frames.
Gucci frames. So you might have just leave them shit out.
Nah, I can't leave it. Well, I mean, it's funny. I wear, as you know, I pretty much always got different frames, but they all prescription. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
They just
I mean, not my sunglasses, but yeah, it's
for the fashion, but not
it's
just
for the fashion, but not just for the fashion. Exactly. But enough about all that, bro. How you coming?
Man,
Talk to the people.
No, I'm coming. So I be in New York. You know what I'm saying? So I know better.
Right.
It's not Birkenstock season. It's Tim season. You know what I'm saying? So let's start from the feet up. You know what I mean? R.I.P. Virgil got the off-white Timbs on. The velvet. These shits go crazy, bro. I got these in both colors. Like just the off-white with the velvet though. That should give it that touch. That yellow go with the rude yellow strings. I thought it was hard. Just did a rude like jumpsuit. I don't even remember where I got this, but I was like, this shit look hard. Came with the yellow jewels. I like the coordinate kind, you know what I mean? The jewel with the fist. So the yellow cardies on, the rings and shit. Cubans on today. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my nigga Moses.
Shout out Moses.
All the jewelry come from Moses. So if you asking jewelry questions and shit like that, man, I'm gonna tell you holla at my nigga Moses. And but yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. So you know, go yard scarf on. You know what I mean, it's been my wave lately. I've been rocking the designer scarves, just crazy lately. So no.
We actually saw our scarf lady earlier today.
Yeah. We said hi, wave to her in Soho. What's up? We gonna pick a few of those up. But shit, let's take a little break. Get back into it.
All right, so let's get back into the conversation around cry and roll. We called the episode "Why Men Cry." Do you think it's a difference of why men cry versus women?
I think at the root cause, no. But you know, I think at the root cause of it is no, because it's still, I feel like it's still the same trigger of emotions that are triggered to make you cry, but
those triggers are different.
but the surface level things are different. I feel that men, and the reason that men internalize is different. I feel men, even if it's not pressure on themselves, they feel a different type of pressure. That need to provide, and need to be a man. I need to be strong. I need to be good looking. I need to have a lot of money. I need to make sure my family's taken care of. I need to have this. I need to have that, or else I'm less than. You know what I'm saying? Word. That type of pressure, those type of...
Sound like that bald dude on TikTok. I forgot his name. Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Yeah. Yo, that's funny. So I was just watching some shit on that nigga the other day. Like, yo, this nigga is fucked. Yeah, he's a character for sure. But like, yeah, he a man. You know what I'm saying? Word. So it's like, it's those type of pressures that I think men deal with frequently. And then also, when you're a woman, it's already kind of okay for you to show your emotions, whether you crying in front of a man or you crying in front of your girls. Whereas a man, you know, is don't cry. So I feel that's a pressure in itself of don't do this. This is an added pressure. Women, you could cry. It's already you're stereotyped to cry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they probably deal with the written off. Like, I feel like if a man is crying, people might ridicule it, but they're gonna take it seriously. Whereas women, it's probably like, oh yeah, you would be crying. You would be, shit. Yeah.
Nah,
okay.
I agree 1000%. What about you? What you think on that?
I'm with I at the heart of it believe it's a human being. It's a human being thing. It's a human condition situation where I feel like, you know, people want to feel safe. They want to feel heard, seen, valued, and when they don't, that makes them sad and they cry. I think women probably cry more often from the trigger of feeling threatened, I would assume. I'm not a woman, I wouldn't know. But from my conversations with women, that idea that something could happen, that, you know, or somebody could exert force over me that I couldn't overcome or withstand, I think it's like that threat looming out there seems to be something that is a distinct factor. But I think that goes back to not feeling safe. And I think what the trigger for a man not to feel safe is different, but the root cause, like you were saying, is
it's all in the same.
Is the same thing. Yeah, and that's so. It just, but I asked that to say, like, I wonder how we got to the point where men can't cry, or men quote unquote don't cry, or you know what I mean, or where that's a bad thing. It's like
it's vulnerable. And then if it's vulnerable, that means it can be exploited as a weakness. You know what I'm saying? So if we looking back to Tom, think about emperor, kings, like that type of vibes is no weakness. Because if you show vulnerability, you are now weak. We can get you while you weak.
So why is it that men can cry on the field or court? Because athletes get a pass.
Yeah. Athletes get a pass, but I feel like they get the pass of I'm crying because I work. It's blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? There is blood, sweat, and tears put into sports to win championship, but it's blood, sweat, and tears put in his life shit every motherfucking
but
day.
Everybody who crying is not winning.
Facts. And yeah, and I've seen but in sports, I guess it's looked at as is the battle. That's the battlefield. So if you cry in the battlefield, it's okay.
Well, that's why I said it, because that's the last place you want to be vulnerable is in the battlefield, to your logic of like, well, that shows the weakness.
So then, if that's the case, to my life, it was show, but it's sports though, so it's like, and only in
it's
sports,
already manly.
Yeah, it's already manly, and it's also they don't cry and then go play. It's always a cry after you're not about to play no more. Like a boxer can't cry before the match. Before the fight, he got to cry out. He can cry all the tears you want after, and nobody. Yeah, that's what it is.
Shout out to Mike Tyson, bro. Just his evolution, but I love how freely he shows his emotion.
Yeah, facts. The evolution and growth of Mike, just the whole life, being able to watch it unfold. He one of the pillars of this, like being vulnerable and open, and like I'm not just some monster that beats niggas up. Like,
it's more to me, and I'm gonna embrace it.
Facts.
For those who are listening, who might want to start that journey in embracing, I feel like maybe you got more game for them than me on this one.
Shit, because I always want to leave out every episode. We got to teach and give some kind of game, or at least not even give game. Is more so, hey, here's what I learned from my experience. Maybe you could take this with you, maybe you can't, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, I'm going to share. I would say so what's the question, I guess, in terms of?
For those who want to embrace all the feelings, including crying, what's something they can do? Because I feel like there's probably people who are afraid to do it, or maybe feel like they quote unquote don't know how.
Right. Then definitely my advice into those people would be always to it's to look and identify what it is. You know what I'm saying? Identify what is actually making you cry. You know what I'm saying? Then once you're comfortable with that, I feel like, okay, well, if you're scared, identify why you're scared, and then conquer that fear. You gotta do it. You gotta, if it's, I don't want to cry in front of people as not appear weak, do it. Give it a try. Like if motherfuckers that never do that, like, yo, go ahead, see how I feel. And then once you break that wall of that uncomfortability, then it becomes, oh shit, like you cry in front of somebody that you don't never cry in front of, and then watch, they might have a conversation with you and y'all connect on some shit that y'all ain't never know you was about to connect on, or cry in front of your mama and your dad about some shit that hurt you when they was young and see how they react. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like just doing it brings so much more together, but there is a fear kind of that you have to conquer. Like you have to, I'm going to do it. Next time I feel like crying, just do it and see what happens, see what come of it, or even just evaluate how you feel after the fact. You feel, even when people cry, you feel lighter after that shit. You start breathing different. You start, it's out of you now. You know what I'm saying? And once you do that, you start becoming comfortable, and you're going to start finding yourself in some real conversations with people. You're going to notice things about each other that probably would have never came to the forefront if y'all would have never had them conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely feel you. And I'm with you on the don't be afraid. I think, like I say, I might not be the best person to talk to about embracing crying because I don't do it as often. But I do it, and I'm not afraid of it. And I look it in the eye. Like you said, crying in front of people.
Yeah, because it's like there's different situations. Where it's like, what if something happened? What if something happened in the moment? You know what I'm saying? In the moment, to where it's like, oh shit, but now you gotta cry. But the first thought go to who's around, who about to see me, what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I've had to grow to this point to where it's like, it don't matter. I don't give a fuck. Everything blocked out. That's how I'm feeling. But I know that there's a level that you gotta conquer and get over that. I don't care who watching. This is how I feel.
Bro, you speaking reminded me of me being in Hong Kong when Nip died. So I'm with my homies. Only mention I'm in Hong Kong because it was April Fool's. So
right.
even though it's like the 31st here was the April 1st there. And I'm thinking it's a trick.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what's the plot. And
how'd you get the news?
On Twitter. So my sister calls me and is being weird. Have you been on the internet? You been on social media? I'm like, what's going on? Finally, she like cut to the chase. She's like, Nip got shot. What you mean got shot? We go through that whole thing, right? But reports were that he was still alive. He was breathing when he left the scene. So I'm at breakfast on Twitter, and NBC News reports he's dead. And I just start bawling. And I'm around my homies. We out there for Art Basel and stuff. So that was the first time I remember crying in front of like peers since sports.
It didn't matter.
And it felt like it wasn't like, oh, I didn't try to protect myself, but I also was like, this isn't normal. I don't normally do this.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a tighter bond with all those people since then. So
right, exactly.
Yeah.
You saw that in you, and then it bring it together. So
like this is me.
That feeling. Exactly.
You fuck with me. This is a part of me, and I'm not afraid of it. You shouldn't be. So yeah, I think that's the one thing I could say as well.
Nah, it's been a lot. I think there's been a hell of a what was you about to say?
Nah, I was just thinking. Remember I was talking to you about not crying, right?
Yeah.
So, my son's mother, I was dating her at the time, right? And we had been dating for like 5 years at this time. And I call her like, tearing up, like they killed that nigga Nip, man.
Yeah.
And after that, like a week later, she like, in the past 5 years, I never seen you cry. And then it's the one thing. It's the one time you cried, like, but like it just wasn't a thing. But I realized then, if something touched me, I'm gonna cry. Like I said, I wasn't holding it back. It's just whatever, whatever.
Yeah. And then with the deeper conversation would be then why did that make you cry? And then we get into all that.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna get too crazy on these niggas. Episode 1, I feel like we done covered a lot. I feel like we done gave. I feel like we did. We came in here and did what we need to do. Episode 1 kind of show how we come in, what people should expect on the weekly. Kind of gave a bit of ourselves to the audience. Y'all already know how we coming with this.
Yeah, felt good, man.
Felt real good. Therapeutic.
Appreciate you bringing me on this journey, bro.
Already glad to have you on this journey with me, my nigga. So that's it for the Stay Dangerous podcast, episode 1. We love y'all. I love you, my nigga.
Love you, my nigga. Appreciate
y'all listening. We out.
Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous.